Game number 1, another best of 5 series at the Happy Gaming Cup. We have the Chinese tournament to commemorate the Chinese servers that are being shut down now. More about that in just a second, but we got some Korean players in here as well. We got Team Gen against Team Easy Girl, and our first map is Battlefield of Eternity. We got Garrosh, Urel, and on the other side, Muradin and Dehaka at the front. Damage with Tracer, played by Gonda in this case. We got a Sylvanas in the house, and as so often, also a Li Ming. But yeah, so if you haven't really watched any games of this tournament, this is a tournament that is hosted on the Chinese server. Very important, the Chinese server is different from the Asia server, and the Chinese server is being shut down by Blizzard. Blizzard had some licensing issues and some politics stuff and whatever. So they didn't get a license for all of this, which means that they're shutting down their World of Warcraft servers, but also the Heroes of the Storm servers are affected. This tournament is the final tournament on the Chinese server. After that, the Asia server is still available, and this was also, of course, widely used for a lot of the tournaments that we've seen in the past, like the Skyline Cup, for example, or the Fish League in Korea. And we even have a couple of Korean players over here, and in particular, Gonda and Hyde. Hyde playing Rhaegar, and Gonda, as you can tell, is playing Tracer in this best of 5 series. We are in the losers bracket right now, another best of 5 series. The winner of this is going to move on to the losers bracket final and has another shot at the grand final. But we'll see if any of the team, or which one of the teams, can move forward. One will, spoiler alert. Tracer rounds on level 1. We got also with Li Ming in the mix now the Force Armor on level 1. Taken right away here. Seen a couple of Li Mings, obviously. She doesn't get played a whole lot outside of Battlefield of Eternity, but here she is still a hero that you'll see every now and then. The stalemates in particular are where she shines, because she can just YOLO out the abilities, and Gonda gets cracked like an egg. Team Gen with an early hit, and damn son, they're going for a counter kill on Hanzo, but it seems that the blue team is still able to get the camp at the bottom of the map, so no early game split between the bot and the top lane in an attempt to tie camps. Instead, we have them going all out on it, and Team Gen wins the battle, and therefore pulls ahead with 2 kills to 1, and in the camp, Hanzo is stacking his level 1 as well, as we have some of the heroes slowly starting to move towards the top here. Zoning Stormbolt from Muradin. Didn't hit that one home. And yep, Gonda is already on the run. Budget Gimli over here. Gimli would have hit that one. Gimli would have hit that Stormbolt 100%. But the only thing that Team Easy Girl could afford was the budget version, so they had to go for Muradin, and he's just not that good at aiming things. So yeah. Level 4 on both sides with that. We're now getting the possession. And yeah, poor Stukov. The man got flanked like crazy. Absolutely no awareness for flank positioning, and therefore he got demoted immediately. So yeah, no Admiral, no more. Urel also got hit, and that's now 3 kills in total for Team Easy Girl. Still one of the best names in this entire tournament. I have no idea if they're playing with Engage Kiss a little bit, e.g. Easy Girl, Engage Kiss. I have no idea how this is connected. But Team Easy Girl is just insanely funny as a team name to me. I have no... And honestly, with a lot of the Chinese and also the Korean teams, I have no idea if they are aware that they pretty much just call themselves the sluts. But it's just awesome. A lot of these team names also just end up being translated with Google Translate, and then the meaning is somehow weird. But that's one of the things that makes a lot of the Chinese tournaments very, very funny to me. So, the sluts in red are currently ahead with Easy Girls trying to go for another kill here. Trying to go for our boy Garrosh at this point. But they couldn't get the kill. They have taken the halftime... I wanted to say the halftime lead, and actually they didn't. It's the blue team that's a little bit ahead here. So Hanzo and Li Ming working in tandem to give them an advantage, and they might just lock the entire thing in. Despite the kill advantage, we got Team EG trailing a little bit behind here. So it is a victory on the first Immortal for Team Gen, the blue team, starting to make their thing. Down at the bottom of the map, we already got Sylvanas starting to push back through with a quick move for the wall. So they're hoping for a 2-pronged attack as the Immortal travels top. They are attacking the bot lane. But yeah, not really working out that way. Sylvana's obviously hoping to get some counter pressure, but not really working out for them. Mirrodin again with the Storm Bolt, this time connecting. It's a little bit chaotic. They just let the Immortal go, and instead of defending, they're going for aggression. Urel is at the bottom of the map, so they're going for the weak link again, which is Stukov, the man with a big arm. And yeah, they did well. The wall might fall, but so does the Immortal. Urel at the bot lane couldn't really do a whole lot. The Haka has now moved down to the bot lane with his global. So they just 5-manned the top lane, got a hit in on Stukov, pressured the rest of the team, used the 5 versus 4, and then before the bot lane took any significant damage, the Haka used his global to rotate. So nicely done. Me likey. Good solution to the problem that they had. Calamity is in so that Li Ming can play a little bit of Heroes of the Storm whack-a-mole again. Definitely ready for that. But on level 7 we now got the growing infestation. I mean, I'm sorry, but if I cannot look at this and not think about a sexual innuendo here. Every time. I know I've talked about this in the past, but still, the growing infestation for Stukov. This is just wrong. It just feels wrong to me. Like, maybe it's me, but I very heavily... I mean, I don't think everybody immediately comes to that conclusion, but I'm definitely not the only one that looks at this and says, like, yeah, that name rings a little bit weird. So, Blizzard, I see what you did there. You know exactly that there's one developer on Blizzard's side that was responsible for the naming of some of these talents, and he's just cackling every single time that he sees anybody play that talent or that he hears a caster talking about it. You know that this is the thing. We had a guy that was doing like, this is years ago, right? So years and years and years ago, I want to say 20 years ago, back in the early days of esports with Warcraft 3, when I was still commentating that, we had a guy, a graphics designer, that did honestly fantastic work. Like, he was responsible for a lot of the tournament websites that were developed. He did a fantastic job with all of that. But at the same time, he also had this thing where he would hide a penis in a lot of the art that he was making. So there was like a beautiful background that people would use for like years somewhere, and he would have hidden a penis somewhere in the picture that you honestly couldn't really see when you didn't know where it was. But he always had a laugh about that, and at some point then he revealed this. We were just like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, the fuck is wrong with you? But that's the thing. There are people that do that, and yeah, it's always been a thing, honestly. Some people are just a little bit strange and not quite right in the head, I would say. But this is the same thing. So Blizzard, I see you. And obviously, once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's the same that when you're looking at Sonya in the game, and you're thinking about Eminem with an orange wig. And if you've never heard me talk about that, then look at the portrait of Eminem, of Sonya, think Eminem, think red wig or orange wig, and you will never be able to unsee that. So I just ruined Sonya for you. You're welcome. Either way, 2 kills to 4, level 10 on both sides, and the red team has locked in a monster. They got the early level 10, they capitalized on it. They did a great job with that. So, oh, the arrow of hell! Rhaegar runs straight into it. He's a glutton for pain, that boy. Damn, there's the arrow. Oh, they stole the camp! But he still gets the bloodlust off, and now everybody on the blue team is in trouble. They were able to take the camp away, but the Immortal is already doing work, and 3 heroes just died. Worth it? I don't think so. They lose way too much here. Now they also use Real. What were they thinking? They took the camp. I mean, they were gambling a little bit here. If that's a victory, they take not only the camp but a few kills, and it's a different story. But now they're losing the bottom fort for sure. It's 8 kills to 2. They're making now a move also for Li Ming, who doesn't stand a chance of survival either. With a little bit of luck, Gondor is gonna get killed, but even that seems questionable, as Garrosh just can't get a hold of Tracer. The top fort is now also falling, so that little interplay that we saw at the right side of the map just cost the blue team, I mean, more or less everything. Look at the gap. 7 kills ahead, a 2-level lead pretty much, and the bot lane now gets attacked too. So, well, with attack 2, I mean both of the lanes are losing their wall. The keeps are exposed. And that is just bananas. I mean, that was massive. Winning the objective with such a huge shield, then winning the battle on the camp. Losing the camp itself, so it could have been worse. If they won the camp too, that would have been even more of a disaster. But yeah, now we got 21,000 damage for Tracer, 20,000 for Hanzo. And, well, here it is. We got level 13. Talent advantage for Team Easy Girl. And the Easy Girls are pushing through the top lane. Yeah, they opened the wall already. They're hoping to take some of the hit points of the keep away. I don't think they can take the entire thing. But even if you're just able to do a little bit of damage here, you're going to be in a much better spot later on. And if the Haka, of course, lands a lick, then even better. If Muradin comes through with a Storm Bolt or two, another chance of netting themselves a few kills, follow up with Bloodlust. And if Urel, of course, then jumps out and forces the fight, that could very quickly backfire. Good arrow from Hanzo on the other hand, hitting 3, but the Wailing Arrow, and Garrosh gets murdered. Garrosh is dead just as the Immortal is being announced. Timing barely works out to get him back into the game. But they are still sieging up on that top lane a little bit. 10 kills to 2 now. And Sylvanas is already burning another wave at the bot lane. So those minions don't stand a chance. And of course it's also a camp that she wants. Trying to come in for the camp here as the rest of the team is getting some early pressure on the Immortal. Muradin, he's the first one. Coming in with a Stormbolt. Has invested though into his level 4, so he actually went for it. Goes for the level 4, that will increase the damage just slightly, so he can do some work here. But let's face it, even with the Sledgehammer, that's not insane. You take that more so for the cooldown reduction here than anything else. With the rest of the team now following up too, they can speed the process up a little bit, but of course also on the left side we're seeing the red team making similar moves, both of them with similar positions now, but there are still camps to be taken care of. Team Gen is still on the back foot, they still gotta defend here. Nice move into the lurking arm, I like it, but the Haka still gets out. There's the drag, also Bloodlust used again, and they're going for the objective. The arrow only connects with Muradin, he's gonna shrug that off without a problem. The rest of the team is trying to follow, but there's still a camp at the bottom of the map that is applying pressure to the lane and hoping for damage on the keep, and they gotta deal with it eventually. So right now, big lead on the Immortal for Team Easy Girl. Oh, that could have been a problem for Gonda, but he only takes a bit of damage here. This is tricky though. Yeah, this is a big, big play. You got a catapult, you got a camp, and a big minion wave that is now moving in. That keep is going to take way too much damage if they don't send somebody back. And as soon as that happens, the Immortal is going to be swarmed by the red team. They're just waiting for that. There's a big opportunity to take Stukov down on the other hand, and they take it. So Stukov is down, they're following it up, hoping for a second kill, and Garrosh gets crushed. They might even get kill number 3 here, because Urel has to pop her ult, but she's not out of harm's way yet. And Tracer wants the kill and gets the kill. So 3 are down. The keep has lost 50% of its hit points, and now they're even stealing the camp. Big, big plays by the red team. Big plays for sure. Able to get level 16, 2-level lead for them. And they are dominating this game. And then Gonda just commits suicide. Like, dove behind the keep. I got this. Team? I don't have this. I don't got this. Like, help. And just dies. So yeah, there it is. Tracer is gone, and now this push might not be as dangerous anymore. The problem for our boy Stukov is simply that he gets caught all the time with his pants down. He's not somebody that has a lot of tools that would allow him to disengage. He needs some help. Bloodlust is used again, so they might be able to get away. And Sylvanas, yeah, she kind of gets caught here, gets murdered, so she's down. At the top, on the other hand, there's not enough to defend against the Immortal. One keep is definitely going to fall here. I mean, they hoped for more, of course, but we're still talking about a 2-level advantage, a 10-kill lead. And I would say, does the core take some damage? I mean, nah, probably not. Nah, not really. So, the shield is attacked, the core doesn't take any damage whatsoever. Still kind of funny. If Tracer didn't die. I mean, you can't even call that dying. She just literally blew herself up, diving in way too deep. The Genji syndrome. So, yeah. Going just too deep for a kill and then being punished for it. But there's a Stormbolt again. So they're taking it on the left side right now as they're making a move and try to also take... Stukov is just getting crushed this game. I mean, what the fuck? That's 6 kills against him. Stukov died 6 times. Obviously, they're targeting him directly and just blow him up whenever they can, but this is just getting a little bit too far. We now have 16 kills, 2-4, and they are coming through the bottom of the map in the hopes of dropping... well... What is Garrosh doing? Okay, this is a solidarity death. So he just turned around and it was just like, alright guys, everybody's dying and I guess I'm just going to YOLO in as well. He could have escaped, but he decided to just sacrifice himself. Game was over, I suppose. 18-16 on the board in regards to levels, and we have a 1-0 lead for Team Easy Girl as they drop Team Gen in the first game of this best of 5 here in the losers bracket. GG. Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV. Here we go, game number 2, and guys, it is getting spicy. On the left side, we got Team Gen. So this time they didn't switch sides. They're really testing me here. From match to match right now, either they switch every single map or they only switch occasionally. They keep me on my toes and make sure that I double check every game where the teams start. We got Team Easy Girl still over on the right side. They have taken the lead in the best of 5 series here in the losers bracket. But the most important thing right now is that we now not only have Illidan in the game, which is crazy in and of itself, starting things off with the Battered Assault, but we also have again a double support Vala, and this time it's actually a real double support. So we have a main tank Tyrael, we got Leoric, and then we have Rhaegar and also Stukov for support, auto attack style for Vala. Highly likely. Hasn't made a choice yet, but I would say at this point, yes, you could play it with a multi-shot build, but if you're going double support, this pretty much and you are the only real damage dealer, that really indicates that you want to go full on single target damage with the auto attack here, and this is exactly what we're getting. So, same deal as in previous games. You want to make sure that you don't die, so you keep all of your gambit stacks together. It's highly important that you are not losing the auto attack speed that you get through the gambit. The main reason being that once that you lock in Manticore with the added attack speed, your damage output against the opponent's front line is just nuts. Even if you didn't stack a whole lot. But with 2 supports, you should also be in a position where you can get a lot of free stacking. That's what they're kind of trying to do. Illidan, he is kind of fun to me. I love Illidan. This is, by the way, the skin that I love to call the gay scuba diver skin. I have no idea why, but it looks all... Like, this is honestly, the first time that I saw this skin in action, I was like, gay scuba diver. I have no idea why, but the entire mask that he's running here, I don't know if that is an homage to a certain game, or maybe like some armor that I have in World of Warcraft. I have no clue. But it looks like it's a scuba diver thing, and then the hairstyle and everything, so yeah, definitely that. Either way, Illidan, he's a boss. And I think Illidan is a hero that I never understood. The funny thing with him is there's so many missed opportunities from Blizzard with that hero. They have literally a talent that is called Blind Like a Bat, and it's not a talent on Illidan. It's fucking ridiculous. Vala dying here, by the way, is also ridiculous. You have 2 supports. For the love of God, you have 1 job. Don't YOLO into the opponent and just make sure that you're keeping her alive. Instead, the first Gambit stack is already gone. So, yeah, kind of bonkers. Vala dying right at the beginning of the game. The 2 supports not being able to keep her alive here. Illidan, in the meantime, yeah, he's kind of... Pleb horse, I gotta say. Well, maybe he just tried to go for the synergy between the horse's tail and Illidan's hair. Maybe we got something here. Maybe that's an intentional choice. Usually I call out the pleb horses whenever they appear, but in this case, there might be a little bit of thought behind it. So maybe he wants to go for the synergy between the horse's ass and Illidan himself. Who knows? But yeah, either way, the one thing that always kind of amazed me, by the way, is that Illidan, a guy who has a blindfold and can't see, is countered by blinds. That is like, what? I have no idea what Blizzard was thinking. In this game, we don't have blinds. There's no Jojo here that could come in, but that always struck me as a little bit odd. So first of all, he's the hero that doesn't have the talent that's called Blind Like a Bat, and then at the same time, he is countered by blinds. But either way, Illidan is always fun. So one of the things that happened in HGC is that Illidan was brought back a little bit by the Koreans for a time. And part of this was because they were always using Illidan to attack structures. They would leave him alone on the lane and he would just murder structures, take them down, chipping away at their hit points. And a lot of teams didn't react properly to that and had real big issues just dealing with the side lane pressure. He's an insane force in the late game. In the early game, he needs a lot of assistance and is oftentimes easily taken down. But when he scales well into the late game, it's a very different story. And guys, I don't know what's going on here. But Valla dying now for the second time this early with 2 supports and the red team being absolutely crushed here is kind of crazy. Illidan is applying tons of pressure at this point and they just can't deal with it. Normally, when you have an Illidan against you, what you're trying to do is actually not go for a huge amount of blinds. I think this is not a hard counter Illidan. It can help you, but normally you want to control him with stuns. CC in general is fantastic. You want to CC him as best you can, and if you're looking over to what Easy Girl is running, they're lacking CC. They just don't have any. So all of these stuns that they're normally using to try and control Illidan and put him under pressure are just not there. And he's doing well. Insanely close call, by the way, on that particular objective. So the red team wins it. And Illidan finally dies, but we're already 4.5 minutes in at level 7. They're getting a second kill on Diablo, but this could be a wild game. Illidan is so far doing a decent job. He scales well into late game. Lucio got crushed. He didn't expect that. Got slowed and then couldn't escape. So an over-the-wall Lucio kill. And just as it seemed that Easy Girl might be murdered in this game, they are just toying with their opponents. They're getting kill after kill. The fuck is happening here? Lucio gets caught over the wall. Then all of a sudden, Diablo and Greyman are both killed. And what looked like a really nice opening for Team Gen after the point where they lost the Punisher turns very quickly into Easy Girl, destroying a fort, getting 7 kills in total. And now just following up even further. Look at this crap! Illidan is nearly dead here, slowed down, and if the gate would have opened a moment earlier, Valla would have just vaulted forward and sealed the deal here with another set of shots. So they struggle in the first encounter, but now they have level 10 abilities, they have an entire level lead, they could just go in, use Sanctification, and push this further forward. Losing Valla twice in the early game definitely didn't help their cause, but they are more than making up for it right now. So it's of course a shame that they lost the attack speed for Valla, but this is still... I mean, what the hell? They have a 1-0 lead, and of course they dominated the first map. But now this is getting real spicy. Once that Illidan has level 10, things could change. Illidan, as I said, is great in the late game, and there's still a lot of CC missing that you normally want to have when you're playing against Illidan. But there's Metamorphosis now coming in. They also got the high 5. And here comes the fight. They're coming in right away with Greyman and Diablo, trying to push them back. Good move. Gonda in trouble. And he gets killed again. Third stack gone from Valla. And now Leoric is dead too. This game is just back and forth. They're just going all out. In these fights, it's not even about defending anymore. It's just about who can kill the opponent first. That's pretty much all that's happening. It's nasty. 100 stacks for Valla. So yes, she's dying a lot, but at least she was able to get some stacks together. It's always a shame when Illidan doesn't stack on his level 1. The Battle Assault is obviously working extremely well for them here, but at the same time, I love these little mini-games where Illidan can scale even harder into the late game. He's at 15,000 damage already, which is pretty respectable considering that most of his damage is single target. Valla is at 23,000, and it is... It's a fun one. I like this one. This is good. And Illidan, as I said, he is doing well on the side lane too. So if you get him on structures, he can easily take that wall down or go for a fort if he escorts a couple of minions in. And Tomb is used to force them into a fight. Our boy is coming though. Here he is, the man, the myth, the legend. Coming in, swinging, trying to chunk them down one hit at a time and creating chaos in that backline. Illidan slipping through and buying a bit of time and space for Diablo and the rest of the blue team to disengage before there's any deaths on their side. Now, it's 6 kills against 7, and the two teams have now stabilized around level 12. Valla is still stacking. She's still prepping for the late game a little bit further. But the next objective is now coming up, and keep in mind that the first one was already insanely close. Lucio is also in a wild spot this game. He killed Vala, I believe, 2 times by himself already, delivering the final shots here. And on the other hand, he's also been the target, and especially that over-the-wall kill at the top was more than a little bit weird. But yeah, the slows that came through there from Rega in particular were just bonkers. But now the objective is up again, and both of the teams, they still have fountains up, the camps are there too. We have the virulent reaction for Stukov. They're trying to get at least a little bit of CC in. And look at Illidan. He's driving that fight. He's also dropping low on the other hand. And Lucio needs to be ready to help him out a bit if need be. But they got Illidan immediately back on the shrine as he has to retreat and help the team to get a few additional stacks together. They're still trailing on the other hand. Team Easy Girl, they're trying to pull ahead and lock in a second Punisher. Illidan again in the back, and he's such a disruptive character. That's why CC is so good against him. When he starts to dive into your backline, if you can just turn around and stun him once or twice and then target fire him, he can very quickly be destroyed. But as it stands, he has a lot of mobility that he can use against Team Easy Girl. And they're pulling ahead massively on the objective now, so this should be a lock for the blue team, as they are getting their first Punisher. Mortar Punisher in the game. Illidan still dancing around, the elusive strike over here. They even get a kill on Leoric in this case. Vala is at 150 stacks. The gate is gone, which means the Punisher jump and stun can be followed up on. And Rega is very much in trouble. He gets out after using the Ancestral, but the entire team is still on the receiving end of a beating. And they gotta move past the gate. They can't save that fort. It's not happening. Illidan is just pressuring this, and yeah, they just don't have an answer right now. So this is going to be a wild game. We've seen previously what can happen when you are able to get a kill, when you are helping Stukov to get into a good position with the Lurking Arm, and then also Tyrael comes through with his own ult using the Sanctification. But whenever that isn't available to them, when they can't dominate the fight by using all of those tools together, then they are getting pushed too far. And this is happening again. Guys, we're 10 minutes in and they're about to lose a keep here. Illidan playing a huge role with this too. So the keep is already gone. They can't get a kill, but they used the first objective that they won in this game to push through a fort and a keep and just obliterated the entire lane. They went through the middle like hot butter through cheese, just crushing everything in their way, melting it away. Now, 7 kills on each side. Even bot lane fort damage is something that they had to be okay with. We have 38,000 damage for Junkrat, 43,000 for Vala, and yeah, Illidan, he is at a respectable 30k. He's usually not the one that gets very high up in the damage numbers, unless you have a quick match game going on for yourself there. With the single target damage, he's normally trailing behind the AoE damage dealers, but he's doing very well here. Pretty much second highest on his team. So right now, we have them already with a push through the bottom of the map once again. And there's the Entomb. Fight is happening. No, Greymane! He makes it out. Illidan, on the other hand, chunking away. Yeah, he is wielding those two. Ratata, hit after hit. Bam, 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 bam. Straight in the face of Vala whenever he can. Has to be a bit careful of the Rain of Vengeance, of course. And the Lurking Arm. But now we have nearly 200 stacks for Vala. The two of them are dominating here, but yeah. That was the cool thing when Illidan was still meta. When you could still actually play him. Because he was just such a force to be reckoned with. Momentum was everything for him. And he's showcasing that again. Look at him. In the backline, immediately. Vala with another stack. Illidan trying to push them back, but Junkrat and Diablo are both low. And disengaging might become a problem. He still has Metamorphosis on the other hand and has to use it here too. But he will eventually have to jump out. Or not, because it just took Vala down. Vala down, Illidan with a kill, Diablo still alive somehow, and Illidan is still pushing this. Also creating space for Greymane to re-engage and try and get another kill himself. There's the hit. They're going for Stukov. Illidan finally died. Took all of the damage from the fort. Diablo might even survive here, but what an insane battle. And in the meantime, the core is taking damage as the Winions are doing work here. And the second catapult is about to get stuck behind another cap. Yeah, those catapult drivers still totally incompetent, even in 2023. Hasn't changed here. So 76% on the core. The top keep has taken some damage on the side of Team Gen. But yeah, this is Illidan. Hail to the king, baby.
Hail to the king, baby.
Yeah, oh god, that hero was always so fun. Back in the days when you would just go Judgment and then you use him with a hunt just shortly after, taking targets down. It was always a pleasure. And right now, unfortunately, because of all of the CC in the game, he's usually not a hero that gets played, but in this case, he was the perfect counter to the draft from Team Easy Girl. Doesn't mean that they have a guaranteed win here, so this can still backfire. We saw how quickly this can turn and how quickly the blue team, or sorry, the red team can dominate a fight, but only if they're able to get that control of Illidan and that kill, and right now this isn't happening. Vala dies again at 217 stacks. She now died 5 times. No attack speed bonus anymore. They also lost Stukov. So this entire idea that they're running here is negated by Team Gen and by Illidan in particular. He's at 50,000 damage now, and he's just chasing them down 6 days to Sunday. Illidan was always a character that really thrives once that those forts are removed, when he has a bit more space. He's all about distance to safety. When forts are removed and he has a lot of space where he can chase an opponent, then you losing a team fight is the end. Like, he is going to murder you. He's going to crush you. He's going to chase you down to the end of the earth, and he will take your life. And that's what we're seeing here. He is just incredible at this. And this is something that Team Easy Girl is now experiencing firsthand. Game number 1, they dominated. Right now, they have to again contest the Arcane Punisher. The push, the second keep could be a problem. There's a catapult moving into the middle. Once more going for the core. And it is a huge issue here. The keep is a goner, 100%. And if they have any chance to go for the core, they will. And Illidan alone can have a huge impact at taking it down. But he is forcing Vala back. He's coming in for Rhaegar. Metamorphosis to deal with this. Also can use the core to just bounce back a little bit and jump back out. The minion wave, another tool for him to escape. Diablo dies, but just look at the core losing hit points. It's melting. It's absolutely melting. And this should be game. Team Gen putting a point on the board here. They lost on Battlefield of Eternity, but on Infernal Shrines, they don't leave Easy Girl a chance. Illidan, the king of the game here, and he locks in the W for the blue team. Nicely done, GG. Game number 3, the series is tied, and the teams actually switched position finally. I knew they would test me again at some point. So, after Illidan just absolutely wrecked Team Easy Girl, this time we have a game without him. We have on the left side Team Easy Girl with false stats, so a little bit of global action, and Jojo plus Urel up at the front, whereas on the other side for Team Gen, we get an ETC as a frontline. And by the way, I talked about Sonya earlier. Look at her. Look at this face, and don't tell me that you don't see Eminem with an orange wig. That's it. Right there. Mom spaghetti all the way. This is it. Can never unsee it. So they got a Sonya, and this honestly feels like a bit of an old school comp that they're using right now. And I'm curious to see what they can pull off with that. So right now we have on level 1 again the Prog Rock. ETC was of course very popular for a long time also in HGC, because at the time you could play him as either a main tank or in a side lane position. But yeah, curious what the red team can pull off with this composition. They used Illidan successfully in the last game, and now they have an opportunity to show us who's boss with Sonya and ETC. Personally, I'm a little bit skeptical. ETC these days is very, very difficult to play. He is very squishy, not really good at sustained fights. He can be an absolute monster, of course, with good engages, with great timing, and the team following up immediately. But he is not an easy hero to make work for you, and not a tank you see a lot, for that very reason. So we'll see if they can pull something off here. Maybe they got a chance, but time will tell. One of the teams is going to take the lead. This is the losers bracket, as I already mentioned a little bit earlier. So whoever loses in this one is out. Sonya's going to have a hard time winning that battle, but there's a bit of an assist coming. Lucio had enough of it, so he's just like, alright, see ya boys. I'm out of here for now. Don't need to deal with that. Yeah, we had also, for everybody that watches on YouTube, a little bit of a discussion just a second ago because we were talking about pets, and I mean, once again, I highlighted that when we're talking about dogs, a real dog starts at knee height. Everything else is not a real dog. But there was a bit of a discussion whether dogs should be allowed in the house, always assuming that you have a yard, and B, if dogs are allowed in the bed. A little bit split, I want to say. Personally, if I ever get myself a dog, like my family had dogs in the past, my dad still has one, and they are usually not allowed into the house, and if they are allowed in the house, then it's only floor. So they have their own space, they have their own area. If they're outside, they got their own little hut and everything. But dogs are not allowed, for example, on the couch or in the bed. And a little bit of a split opinion on all of that. So pretty curious what people actually think about this, what they think is better. So if you have an opinion on it and if you have maybe pets of your own, then drop a comment in the comment section. It was an interesting discussion a bit earlier. Now in level 4 we now got the hammer gains in, so a bit more sustain. Not really a challenge you see these days a whole lot either. But down to the bottom of the map now, we're already looking at ETC trying to murder Gonda. Yeah, the Koreans, I mean obviously they want to stay in this tournament, right? They're already in the losers bracket. Seems like Eminem had a little bit of a problem here for just a second. Okay. And all the way topside, tribute number 1. I always liked Cursed Hollow. Cursed Hollow was a very interesting map that was released very early on. Back in the day, when we hosted the first tournaments, it was actually bonkers because Blizzard initially, when they released the game, didn't even have a custom mode. So in order to make a tournament happen, what you had to do is you would queue up the 2 top teams, would tell all the other top players on the server, which mostly were communicating through Discord channels, to not queue. Then the matchmaking would match those 2 teams against each other and they would save the replay and then you would cast the replay. So that's how the first tournaments were actually run by me back then. It was super fun. Also very weird. That was, to be fair to Blizzard, that wasn't alpha. So it took them ages to actually get custom game mode in. But at the beginning, this is actually what we did, so yeah. And back then, you had Cursed Hollow as one of the main maps, and in a lot of games, you would try to, like, we didn't have a lot of maps, so you had games where literally Cursed Hollow was played 3 times in a row in a best of 3 series. Alright, Gondor down, and that's first blood, yeah, false stat, they went for the chicken, I said it a bit earlier, but this time they really went for it. Now at the bottom of the map, the first fort is down. And I had to double check to make sure that Team Reverse is not in this game. Because they're a little bit notorious by now to struggle to keep their structures alive in the early game. But this time it's Team Easy Girl that is suffering some severe losses there. Now they of course also got something in return and they have 1 tribute, but that's not really enough. And the experience lead for Team Gen in particular is already worrying me a little bit here. So, kind of interesting how this is going to work out now, because this could get tricky. The red team is playing very aggressive. They're using Sylvanas well as they are starting to move around here. And yep, there we go. They go for structures again, don't make any moves towards the tribute spawn, and instead are just trying to get value and structures. And this is working out quite nicely. Also, they are getting the tribute too, so they actually rotate just a few of the heroes down. They are already realizing that there's a reaction from Team Easy Girl, and that is, well, nearly a kill on Ray, goddamn! Team EG is having some trouble. 10 versus 9, so they're behind. It's 1 tribute against a tribute, and they are a little bit shook after the second game, it seems. That's definitely shaking them up quite a bit. Now, this is of course a very aggressive early game composition that Team Gen is playing. You have a Lucio that can easily rotate you around between the lanes and makes these rotations from Sylvanas onto some structures much easier for them. ETC also threatening that stun engage and the potential follow-up, but they are really driving the bus right now. One move after another, this time also going for the boss. They have ETC now with the stage dive, so not even trying to go for the mosh pit, but instead just aiming to straight up dominate with a bit of global support. They get the camp, the boss just before Urel is close enough to jump in, and yeah, this is getting real nasty. ETC is already trying for the back and cuts off Rhaegar. The slide is in. Hanzo comes in with the arrow. They're going for the Bloodlust, trying to turn it around, and ETC is immediately getting focused here. They're trying to drop him. Urel jumping in, and Hanzo gets crushed, but so does Lucio. ETC with a slide, and he makes it out of the fight. 2 kills to 1. The boss still has to be dealt with, but the chances of the blue team to now get their second tribute are much, much higher at this point, since the red team just lost their support. So the channel is happening. Interrupts are also still ongoing. The boss at the top is about to be defeated, but the fort is dangerously low and could be taken at any point, whereas Junkrat is still interrupting as many of the chances as he can, but ETC is now gone, and that's really the problem with this hit point pool. He doesn't have a whole lot. Sonya had to retreat. They're channeling again, and that is the second tribute now for Team Easy Girl, meaning they have pressure. Around the third tribute, Team Gen won't have another choice, but they will have to make a play and try and defend. So this is going to be something where Easy Girl can force a battle if they really want to. And they're also still looking at the top pressure play by Falstad, who's probably going to retreat now. Rotation's already coming his way, but he should be able to dodge out if he needs to. Not a big deal. Sonya, by the way, she has not gone into an aggressive move with Lee, but instead we're seeing her with the Wrath of the Berserker. With ETC at a frontliner, this makes perfect sense, of course. And they are now also aiming for a sneaky boss pick. And Sylvanas might check that, but it's a bit too late. Falstad is already sitting in the middle. Rhaegar gets caught by the stun on the other hand, as Falstad falls in the middle. So they pay a price for that boss, but this is still worth it. Each team has gotten a boss now. Each team applies a little bit of pressure. Rhaegar has fallen. The level 13 talent is in the hands of Team Gen, just a little bit faster. It's not a big window, it's nothing that they can really capitalize on, but this push in the middle could still be dangerous, since it has the Bruiser camp too, and Falstad is still missing, but he can of course fly back in. So it's a pretty interesting game. Shots on both sides, each team trying to come in with a couple of moves, aiming to pull ahead. The tribute, of course, still advantage. Sonya gets caught by the arrow. Not a problem for them right now, but ETC finds himself in an awkward spot too, and he might actually fall. With Urel jumping in, they nearly got a kill on him, but he is able to retreat and move into the middle. Then again, Sylvana is a bit too aggressive as she's trying to go into the back line. They nearly got a kill there, but now Lucio is low. Sonya with a spin to win attempt. She's in trouble as well. Yeah. And that's not only a dead Sonya, it's a dead Lucio too. So they're killing pretty much half the team here. Is she actually getting away? Are you kidding me? No, she's not. Okay. Yeah, that's probably a curse. That should be a curse. What a fantastic turn in favor of Team Easy Girl, the blue team. It was really dangerous when Sylvana engaged. She got a bit too aggressive, but her Wailing Arrow was absolutely on point. And it was a huge opportunity for them to get a few kills. They couldn't quite make it work, and now we have a curse for Team Easy Girl. The split on the lanes is happening, and it's going to cost Team Gen multiple structures. Now, they might just be able to save most of their forts here, but walls are gonna fall. The bottom fort doesn't stand a chance. Up at the top, lane will be pressured out by Gonda, who with Falstad is immediately making a move onto the lane. Not only is the blue team now ahead in structures, or will be, but in addition to that, they're also taking a significant lead in experience, and that could really become an even bigger issue. First of all, Junkrat finds himself on the receiving end of a beating and gets dropped, but with the boss up in a minute and them locking in level 16, they should have a huge opportunity to steal the opponent's boss away up at the top. Arrow! Barely dodged out by Lucio. top lane fort in trouble. It will fall, and since they're pushing past the fort in the middle as well, there is no way for Team Gen to save this one either. Lucio is gone. It's a 5 versus 4 on the map, but level 16 talent gives Easy Girl a huge advantage, and they're using it ruthlessly as they're taking the entire outer ring of defense apart, and they're also dropping the wall at the keep itself. So, yep, there it is. Up at the top, Junkrat, he's currently taking care of the remaining minion waves, gets a bit of experience for them. I'm actually a bit surprised that they're not going for that boss right away. It's a small gap. Yeah, it's too small of a gap. It would be too big of a risk. Jojo is sitting here, so she's already expecting that somebody on the red team side is going to show up and say hello. Sonya says hi as well. But Joanna will be fine. Now level 16 is available for both of them. I don't think they're going to pressure this too heavily. ETC, as the global hero, is now sitting on the side lane, so he's trying to apply pressure to the bottom of the map and escorting those siege giants a little bit farther out. But there's always the threat of him going straight up for a quick move. Hanzo with an arrow. ETC. Oh, and there's the slow. That's the end of Hanzo. Yeah. Hanzo's down. Was delayed a little bit by the Blessed Shield on Johanna, but now she's in trouble too. So that could be the main tank. Yeah, main tank is falling as well. That was a bit unfortunate. That's 2 heroes down, and just as we thought Team Easy Girl was ahead in the game, they're losing all of their advantages as 2 heroes die, and Team Gen can now lock in another boss for themselves. Junkrat has already moved on towards the top lane, dealing with the Siege Giant camp and also the minions. And since the blue team is of course fully aware what's happening here, I mean, you don't need to be a genius to know what the next step is for Team Gen. They now retreated to take a few camps. Falstad has dealt with the camp in the middle of the map and pushed it out, making sure that Team Gen can't push too aggressively. With the Bruiser camp that they took there, has also to deal with the bot lane still, but here in the middle of the map they're losing their fort. So just like that, Team Gen is back. They are taking the top fort with the boss. Every single fort in the game has now been destroyed. Series is, as I said before, tied. Each team with 1 point on the board in this best of 5. The birdie taking care of the bottom of the map. I think ETC stage dive is also a little bit forced because of Falstad. I mean, there's a lot of interrupts available on the other side as well, so Mosh Pit would have had very limited use, I suppose. Always assuming that Team Easy Girl is able to position themselves halfway decently during these team fights. But then again, you want to have somebody that can help you in these late game situations where macro can be everything. And Falstad will try and push these side lanes as best he can. Now, oftentimes when we have that, we get ETC with an Echo Paddle on level 7. In this case, that hasn't happened. He went for the Pinball Wizard regardless. Everybody's now dancing around the boss at the bottom of the map. And ETC is, of course, the only one that just splits topside. He always can join the fight. He always can come in with a stage dive and really threaten this. But, talking about threatening things, they are threatening Junkrat. The Gust has already been used as the Blessed Shield, and that's a kill. Junkrat down, and that was nicely done. Falstad even using the Gust here. Now they're going with the Bloodlust also for, well, first of all, ETC, who doesn't stand a prayer here. Oh, nice! That would have been so cool if that arrow would have hit him. But Lucio gets away. They can still go for the boss, of course, now. But boy, if that arrow connects, then he just gets blown up. Yeah, they don't find him, so he halves out down here. Hanzo has already started with the boss, but that could have been a really, really cool kill. Didn't quite happen, but it was very close. 40,000 damage for Hanzo, 30,000 for Sonya, and level 20 is super close right now for Team Easy Girl, which of course immediately begs the question, what are they now going to do with this? Are they going to try and push for a keep? Can they maybe move in with the boss? They have to take the tribute at the top because the red team has by now 2 tributes themselves. So you want to avoid that curse. But as the boss pushes through the bot lane, what are they going to do here? This is a 15-minute boss. It's nothing crazy. But Bloodlust has now been upgraded. So we got that on level 20. We also got the Radiating Faith, and they indeed go for the bottom of the map. Now, they're a little bit late to the party. The defense has already started up. immediately the blind opening, so yeah, they are trying to make sure that the boss at least gets to the keep itself. And you want to take this one down, but they don't have everybody here yet, and they're also missing still a few of their cooldowns. But now Rhaegar is here. Nice! That is a perfect wind tunnel into the corner, and they get Sonya immediately. Sonya losing herself in the battle. Mom Spaghetti once again gone. 9 kills to 5, and that's a shot at the keep. 100%. You just took Sonya down. You can siege up on this a bit aggressively. They even have 2 catapults that they can use here. So if they are aggressive around it, there is an opportunity right here, right now. Now Yrel isn't with them anymore because she has gone to the tribute and tried to collect that. That's 2 tributes on each side now. With Team Gen now also gaining access to level 20, it's still a chance to go for the keep because it's a 5 versus 4 with Yrel reappearing at the bot lane. But once that's gone, they're likely going to move back here. They can't defend the keep. Team Gen has to retreat, but they are still in a spot where they can win that game. The big disadvantage is really the situation at the bottom of the map where they now lost the keep itself, but the next tribute could decide this game. Very likely will. And there is also a chance that the boss becomes a huge battle point with only 40 seconds on the clock until it's back. That could definitely be a thing. Falls up with 135,000 siege damage, so he's been all over the place. It's also reflected, by the way, in the experience gain. So if you take a look at this, he's at 19,000 XP that he got. Gonda was just pushing the side lanes throughout the entire game. Sylvanas and ETC can't hold a candle to that at all, so he is absolutely crazy on that. Especially during a curse, that really helps you a lot. When we are talking minion experience, they've therefore taken the lead. Structures, they are ahead. Heroes, they are ahead. Mercenaries. And talking about hits and heroes, there's another hit. Oh, Lucio, how the hell did he escape? Sonya didn't though, and the fight is also not over yet. They're making another move for Junkrat. That has to be the beginning of the end. They're taking Sonya and they're taking Junkrat. Now they're trying to Hanzo Sylvanas. She's attempting to jump out here. Rhaegar is coming in together with Falstad. They get the hit. They're gonna get the curse now, and this is gonna be the end. With 3 heroes already dead, Sonya for 40 more seconds. This is the lead in the series for Team EG. Team Easy Girl, there's no way to bring this home or to defend this for Team Gen. It's just not possible anymore. As you can tell, they're coming in for the core with the entire team. It's a full 5-man. There's absolutely no chance for the 2 survivors to defend this long enough for the rest of the team to come back. It's only Lucio and ETC. ETC doesn't have the hit points to sustain himself through this battle either. The core is falling quickly. Nice isolated kills by Team Easy Girl. Multiple times they were able to get a handle on Junkrat or Lucio, and it gets rewarded. Cursed Hollow, it's a victory, a 2-1 lead in this best of 5 here in the losers bracket of the Happy Gaming Cup, as we are moving straight to the first match point, game number 4. Game number 4, the first match point in the series here in the losers bracket of the Happy Gaming Cup. We got Team Easy Girl on the left side. Alderac Pass is the map, and Team Gen, they gotta dig deep now. Make sure that they are forcing game number 5 if they want to have another chance in the tournament. We got a Zeratul. The series is honestly spoiling us. First of all, we got an Illidan earlier. We had double support Vala. Now we get a Zeratul. Team EG coming in with the aggressive comp, going for the Nubarak Yrel combo together with a Hanzo follow-up. Zeratul coming in. Arrow Vala this time. Solo support. Her together with Junkrat for the red team. An Arrow build can be very, very dangerous if you have a good Vala player. Chris back in the days loved himself an Arrow build. Every single map where he played Vala, he wanted to go for an Arrow build. And if you have somebody that stacks really well and engages in these team fights, you can do a lot with that. But Zeratul is of course the one that we really have to watch out for, because he is the hero that will target Vala, that will target Junkrat. We already have the Might of the Nerazim build started with the Shadow Hunter on level 1, so normally you go for the extra mobility with all of that. The idea always being that you can just dive in, jump out, get the damage, get the slashes in. But Might of the Nerazim for the reset is normally used here. And early game pressure against Junkrat. Zeratul saying hello here real quickly and chunking him down to half HP. Brightwing had to help out right away. Now, traditionally, you have teams dealing with the objective around level 7, maybe even a bit later than that. Here in these Chinese games, it was always a little bit different. I mean, we had one game where they didn't care about the objective whatsoever. Like, literally couldn't care less the entire game. And then in some of the others, they very early started to focus their attention on it. So, should be fun. But either way, a couple of stacks coming together, not only for Vala, but also, of course, for Zeratul. The camp gets taken right from the get-go. Again, super important on Alterac Pass. It's the most powerful... It's actually not the most powerful camp on the map. That's still the bosses, but outside of that, it is still a very powerful camp for the mid lane pressure. And it's not like we have a lot of mercenary camps available on this map in the first place. At the 5-minute mark, the bosses are going to get unleashed too. And if you go all the way with the arrow build, then you can also chunk them down much, much faster. Monster Hunter on level 7, yes, no, that's a question that will be answered later. But here in the middle, they're still starting to poke this out a bit. Early level 4 for Easy Girl, nothing crazy, good stuns, but I don't think this is going to end with a kill on either side. Bed of Barbs for additional control as well. Vala immediately with a repeating arrow. No surprises there either. Pretty standard early game. Nothing insane. Everybody's just looking for a bit of an advantage. I personally want to see if they're trying to sneak with a Nubarak and this little cheesy move. One of the camps once is available. So in case that you're not aware of this, but a Nubarak can solo take one of those prisoner camps and get the objective by simply spawning a couple of beetles that the grunts attack. So once that the prisoner camps are up, you always have to make sure that you have somebody close by if you're up against an Nubarak, so that he doesn't get some free seconds for the team. That can be super, super annoying. So we'll see if they exploit that or not. But this should be something that Team Gen is aware of. Time will tell. First of all, he has to try and pull it off. But yeah, we'll see. Right now, it's just the usual dominating at the top lane. Zeratul is rotating a lot, of course, hoping for quick kills, trying to also get his stacks together for his level 1, so he's already on it. And then both teams are, as usual, eager to get the mercenary camp whenever it appears on the map. It's pretty much a go-to move that you have to use. So yeah, that's what they're doing here. And there it is. Nubarak gets it. Yeah, and he gets the hit in. So now all that he has to do is buy a little bit of time. And it's a nice, annoying move for somebody, and it gives them already 10 seconds. So he's just sitting around here, gets a little bit of an assist from Zeratul as well. Junkrat is trying to grab it, doesn't work out. Nubarak again, very sneaky channel, and even if they can't get it completely, that is a massive lead on the objective. 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3, 2. They're trying to interrupt them even further. 1.8 seconds, and they barely stop it. But even with that, think about how awesome the situation right now is for the blue team. And all by Nubarak coming in and cheesing the initial channel. Now there's enormous pressure against Team Gen. Right from the get-go when it comes to the prisoner camp and the first cavalry that could appear on the map. So nicely done. They have to have way more heroes around right now to try and deal with all of this. And well, there it is. Objective number 1. Easily taken. 420 in the game. They're able to get the cavalry. Didn't scale all that much, of course, yet, but this is still something that gives them an initial lead. They also have the quest completed for Zeratul. Vala has, by the way, gone into Frost Shot, so no Monster Hunter to take these bosses super quickly. But Frost Shot play instead of that. Fight in the middle, and oh boy, if the red team now loses heroes, that would be an absolute disaster, just as the objective comes in. But instead it's Gonda that falls. Gonda goes down, and yeah, that's a bit annoying. So they were hoping to get some good damage in with the first objective, but they might even lose a Nubarak now. Rhaegar saves his ugly butt, and uh-oh, oh, there it is, the kill! And they might get a double. Nah, they don't. Well, they get the bite. Oh, they nearly got the entire thing. Oh my god, that was dangerous. Yeah, Johanna, she barely made it out. Bit of an attack against Rhaegar, but the Haka has to be careful that he doesn't move too far out here, or he's going to be the one that gets punished. Up at the top, the wall has been destroyed by the cavalry. In the middle, they got the gate. They're going to get a little bit more than that too. Bottom of the map, Not really so much. As I said, not the strongest objective yet. But already a good opening for them. And Vala... Wow, she nearly died. Problem for Zeratul is that he is in real trouble here as he walks straight into the Haka. If Brightwing would have been able to move in a bit sooner and drop a poly on him, that could have been a kill. So now we have level 10. Might of the Narazim, as already highlighted earlier, is the weapon of choice for Zeratul. No surprise there. I mean, standard build, standard talent. This is the build that Dainu and Tai have popularized, and then it was also picked up in North America by Cure. And these days it's pretty much the standard. If you see a Void Prison, that's pretty much out of the norm. Void Prison still gets used occasionally, but very rarely. Nice dodge on the arrow. Very well done. Oof, that is a long distance arrow if I've ever seen one. And in the meantime, we have here in the battle a Silence already getting dropped here with the isolation. Vala also with the stuns. The Riptire of hell, but Zeratul is able to get out. So yeah, he got away. And well, there's the next hit. Off we go. Top side, still our 1 versus 1 playing out. Vala with 20 stacks, so nothing insane. 7 minutes into the game, she has 20 stacks. Once that we are looking at bosses also and battles outside of minion waves, she can of course get even more and will get more damage in also with a bit of RNG here. But it's, as I said right at the beginning of the game, it's really Zeratul that we have to watch out for. He got punished in one of the encounters a bit earlier here, but he's at 11,000 damage. It's nothing insane, but he's going to be the one trying with a single target damage on the squishies, and that's particularly Vala and Junkrat. So both of them might be in trouble. There's some CC that can be used against him with a Blessed Shield, with a Poly, with a Tong, but damn, they are chasing them so hard now. Jojo doesn't have a prayer and she falls first. Again, it's the prisoner camps that are coming up. So technically Nubura could try and get into position and make the same play that he executed earlier. Or at least threaten it and force them to keep more heroes around at the top. But they are dealing more with the bottom now as they're going for the boss. Alright, so they're trying to sneak the boss. Or already prep it a little bit. Now, Vision's obviously completely lost to Team Gen, so they might suspect something. But since the camp was now taken, I don't think they're going to check this anytime soon. The Haka is close by, but he's not making a move for it yet, and everybody else is also just sneaking in from the side. And even if they are figuring it out, at this point it's already too late. So there's no chance for the red team to come here in time to deal with this. The Haka can say hello and threaten it for a moment, but he has to be careful that he is not the next one on the menu. So they're getting away right now. Cocoon! No! The arrow denying the cocoon! But they still got the kill. It still worked. They still got the kill, and they're gonna get more than that. That stun, that impale was on target. They're dropping the Haka. Brightwing is gone. Jojo's playing Ring Around the Rosie on the fort, but she doesn't have a chance either. That's 3 kills that they just got here. And of course, now they can easily take down the bottom fort as well. The boss is there. What a fantastic push by Team Easy Girl. 14 to 13, 5 kills to 1, and damn, like, that was glorious. The timing was ideal. Couldn't get any better than that. Cocoon, yes, you can always, of course, nag a little bit and say, like, nah, they should have maybe hold the arrow back a little bit longer and not fire both of the ults out at the same time. Both of them obviously having the same idea, just stopping them from escaping and locking them into the choke point. But it still worked out beautifully well. They got 3 kills in total, and that was just the absolute dream. Now, they've also started to take the objective, which is, of course, an added advantage. They can even buy a little bit more time for the team now. They retook the camp at least, so it's not an immediate threat, but the situation is dire as is. The stun connects, and can they get the kill? Yes, they can get the kill. Urel with the pancake move as she flattens the Haka. They take Vala down as well. It's 2 already gone. Junkrat is caught, tries to escape here, and Zeratul just, nope, not on my watch. Nope. Comes in, gets the kill. They're taking Jojo down. 5-man team wipe. The entire team murdered, crushed, 10 kills to 1. and they go for the objective. As the mid fort gets destroyed, they get level 16. They're going for everything. They go for the boss, they go for the objective. They have somebody that is in the middle trying to make sure that the fort gets destroyed before anything else happens. There's nothing that can be done by Team Gen now. This is going to be such a big hit against the red team. And of course, they are already trailing behind. They are trailing behind in this series. This is match point for Team Easy Girl. If they win this one, they move on to the losers bracket final, and Team Gen would be kicked out of the tournament. Oof, taking 4th place, but still, they hope to make a comeback here, but given the situation that they're in, this is not going to be easy. So, this is the end of the top 4. 10 kills to 1. And now the only question is really how much more damage can they do. Everybody is starting to move down to the bottom of the map. The push at the top is being left alone. They tried to go for Dehaka, who tunneled out of the fight. Good for him. If that interrupt would have reached him, that could have been so disastrous for Team Gen. But it's already bad enough as is. I mean, it's not like they're in a good spot or anything. They have now lost half the control in the middle of the map. At the bottom, the keep is already taking damage. Up at the top, they're also struggling. The Haka is still trying to defend here, but it's also a question of whether or not they can keep everybody alive. Keep in mind, there's no level 16 talent for Team Gen. They're still trailing behind by 2, nearly 3 levels, and they don't have the 16 talent. So it's a huge problem for them. The camp pushing down here at the bottom of the map. The keep at the top has taken damage. The boss is still active. At the bot lane, yeah, in comes Urel. There's the arrow. Bloodlust used. Jojo down. Easy hits. Keep gone. First armor shield removed. Brightwing bites the dust. And at the top, the boss nearly removed another armor shield. Didn't quite make it happen. And that's why the blue team is now moving away. 1 armor shield removed. It's tricky to take that boss down. It's a huge gamble. It's a big risk. It's too big of a risk. But they should send somebody towards the top and make sure that that keep gets eliminated. And I suppose that if nobody else, then at least Zeratul is going to stop by and say hello real quickly. 12 kills to 1 already tells the tale. Unless there's a miracle happen. Unless a miracle happens, Team Gen is not going to make it. Junkrat down. Zeratul, Anubarak, Urel, so many mobile heroes that can always jump in and go for a kill, and they are murdering them. Game number 4, Team Easy Girl goes through Team Gen like hot butter through cheese. The red team is melting away. They are not standing a chance here. They're always losing one hero after another. It's just staggered deaths against Team Gen. And as the push is also hitting the middle now, it seems that they're losing the final armor shield on the core. Another hero barely escaping as Brightwing dives out. But we are... I mean, this is a 3-level lead. Zeratul dies, and maybe that puts a stop to it for now. Even Hanzo gets eliminated. The keep, they still want to take it. They might even... are they going to commit Sudoku with Anubarak? They should, honestly. Urel is the one that moves in. Urel moves in. All of the keeps are gone. No more armor shields on the core. And that was totally worth the sacrifice. Urel falls, but yeah, hashtag worth it. Not a single keep has been lost. Sorry, not a single fort. Not a single fort has been lost for Team Easy Girl. Which means that now it's going to be enormous pressure on every single lane. And I really don't know how Team Gen is planning to deal with it. I mean, what are you going to do here? You're 2 levels behind. You don't have a single structure on the map anymore outside of the core. Even if they get the objective. And I wouldn't bank my hopes on that. But even if they could, what's that going to do? Take a keep down or 2? It's probably all that they can hope to accomplish here. So 34 seconds until they take control of the objective. It would really help Team Gen in the sense that they're taking a little bit of map control here. But it is really tricky. I mean, not only did they lose some of the control against the grunts here, the footmen, but still. Right now, it's just... I mean, look at the lanes, look at the minimap. Arrow is already out, and it's not going to be pretty. This is not going to be pretty. The grunts are retaking on the left side. Vala down, Junkrat down. Guys, they're going to lose everybody here. Once again, the entire team gets crushed. 5-man team wipe. And that's all she wrote. The fat lady is taking a deep breath and about to announce the end of the game. 18-4, the kill count, 3 levels ahead, 21 against 18. Team Easy Girl with the Koreans, the Chinese-Korean team, it's moving on to the loser bracket final. Team Gen is eliminated and takes 4th place in the Happy Gaming Cup. Congratulations. Nicely done by the blue team as they log in the W on Alt-Rec Pass and move on to the next round of the tournament. Thank you everybody for watching the video today. I hope that you enjoyed the show and the commentary. And keep in mind that the spoiler protection that is going to run for the rest of the video is made possible by all the support on patreon.com. So guys, if you want to support my work, if you want to help me start new projects and keep the spoiler protection in place, please consider heading over to patreon.com/Khaldor. There's also a link in the YouTube description and check that out. Thanks in advance and see you guys next time with more esports coverage here on Khaldor TV. Have a great day.